what that is? Do you know what that means? Those are buttercups, daffodils coming up, which means spring. Spring is coming. It's coming. Got me so excited. Hello, little baby. Yay! So happy to see you. Oh, baby. So I've given my plants their minerals and potassium today, but I haven't given myself mine. Plants need to be hydrated, so do humans. I got a new flavor of sparkling water. I'm going to give it a try. As usual, I'm using my unflavored raw element electrolytes. These have potassium in them, 200 milligrams, magnesium, 60 milligrams, and of course sodium, 1,000 milligrams. I use these every single day. I've been using them for years. I don't think my body would be very happy if I stopped. In fact, I have stopped before and things didn't go so well for me. I had lots of muscle cramps. Electrolytes are a part of my every single day routine. Always. With spring coming up, I'm sure I'll be drinking even more electrolytes, especially since I'm going to be outside working on the homestead, which we're going to be talking about here in just a minute. I'm going to be working in the garden. I'm going to be doing a lot of building. I'm going to try to build some structures this spring and summer. We'll see how that goes. I put my raw element, usually I use the unflavored LaCroix, but today I'm using Waterloo, the cherry limeade. That's pretty good, actually. As always, Element will send you a free sample pack with any purchase. If you go to the link on the screen or in the description, it's drinkelement.com/Neisha. They have flavored packets just like this. They have orange, raspberry, watermelon. The sample pack comes with all of their normal flavors and the unflavored and the chocolate, which I usually put in my coffee. It's very tasty. So thank you so much to Element for sponsoring today's video. Now let's go talk about the homestead. Hi guys. So I just had a birthday. I turned 39 on February 4th and we went to Nashville and we had a good old time. We went to see Chicago. We went out to eat. It was fine. But I don't know. It's just doing things like going out and going into the city just don't do it for me like it used to. And it got me thinking, and me and Ken got discussing some things, and he was like, what do you want to do in your 39th year? And I was just like, I took that question very seriously for some reason. And I just said, I don't know, I just want to chase joy. Joyful things. I never want to be understimulated, but in the most understimulating kind of ways. That may not make sense, but I'll get to that in a minute. And I just was sitting around while Ken was in Vegas. He went to Vegas because he spoke at the COSI conference. And while he was gone, I had a lot of, I didn't have a lot of time to myself, but I had a whole 24 hours to myself. The kids went and stayed with my mom. I was here on the farm by myself, took care of the sheep, was outside a lot. It was unseasonably warm. It was like 70 degrees. The clip you saw before this, I was outside and I was actually hot. It was crazy in the middle of February. It is cold again, so that was fake spring. Yippee, love me some fake spring. That was fake spring number one. We'll have another one before real spring gets here. But it just got me in the mood to start thinking about spring and like what's coming and what do I want to do. And I was sitting on the couch and I was just watching YouTube because I don't really watch TV anymore. And this woman that I've actually met, I met her at a homesteading conference. Her name is Kaylee and her YouTube channel is called The Homestead. And she, when I met her, was doing honeybees, obviously. And she was just so cool. And I just loved listening to her talk about taking care of these bees. And I was like, one day I might have bees, because bees aren't just for honey. They're just a really important part of an ecosystem, especially when you have a homestead. We're nowhere near having bees. But then she also has an apothecary now, and she was showing her gardens. And I've done raised garden beds. I have, I want to say 4 right now set up, and I have 4 more. So I'll have 8 total this spring. And I was like, I think I want to do it more. I want to actually do it. I want to be in the garden. I want to have my hands in the dirt. The kids are old enough for that to be a classroom and for us to do it together. And I just got really excited. And I watched so many of her videos. I'm going to link her channel, because even if you wouldn't do any of this stuff, it's just fun to watch other people do it and feel good. And in the deep, dark winter days, like today, it's awful. It's so cold and dreary. It's kind of nice to look back on what people did last spring, get ideas. So it's like, I want to get back in the garden this year. I want to be serious about it. I want to do a lot more herbs and stuff like that. So that got me started. And then it was like a domino effect. So when we first moved back here, let me take you back in time. We were really serious about homesteading this property. Now we live on what I was under the impression was a small farm, because people I know I know people with thousands and thousands of acres. So for us to have 50 acres, that seemed very small. And so we went to this homesteading conference where I met the homestead girl, and we were talking to people. People come up to us and be like, oh, how many acres is your homestead? And we'd say 50, and they'd be like, oh, we only have 10. Every single person that I talked to that was attending that conference, at a homesteading conference, only had 10 acres or less. And that just blew my mind. I was like, oh my gosh, we have so much more than that. Wow, we're so lucky, because this farm is this was my inheritance from my grandparents. I was raised on this farm. My grandpa he raised pigs when he was younger. He had bird dogs. We had chickens. He had a full garden, traditional farming, like he tilled the land, had a big garden, raised award-winning pumpkins, the whole shebang. He was also a teacher and a principal. So like he farmed on the side, basically, when he came home from work. And then after he retired, he did lots of stuff on the farm. And so I was always raised around that kind of lifestyle. And I didn't ever want it for myself, and be very honest. I wanted to get away from this type of living. I wanted to be in the city, fast-paced, museum, culture. I thought I was really missing out on that kind of stuff. And I would say all the way up until probably 2 years ago, I still felt the same way. Now, some of that had to do with where I'm living and the things that were going on in our personal life with the fire and just the small town stuff that happens in a small town when anybody does anything or anything dramatic happens, and it's, we get bored around here. And I think that had a lot to do with me still not wanting to be here. Like, I remember 2 years ago on my birthday, I cried because I did not want to be here. I was so sad. I felt like I didn't have any friends, that I could see that no one understood what I was going through, and that people were still talking crap, blah, blah, blah. I was having a real pity party, okay? And then I don't know, over the past year, have really been able to come back to my roots on my own without being pushed or pressured or whatever. It's just become what I want. And I think a lot of that has to do with my kids, because I don't want them to grow up in the city. This is the best life for them, to be able to go outside, put their hands in the dirt, play with the animals, be real kids. Anyways, all that to say that I decided that I wanted to get back into the homestead because, how do I say this? We've been half-ass homesteading this entire time. I mean, the sheep are well taken care of. They're doing great. I had a decent garden last year, but we ran into some hiccups with the chickens. We ran into some hiccups with several other things, and we just kind of just let it go. We were like, whatever. We're just not focusing on that. We were focusing on other things. And to be fair, we traveled so much for work that we weren't home enough to really put in the effort that needs to be put in when you're taking homesteading seriously. It's a lot of work. It's everyday stuff. And so I decided, and I talked to Ken, we sat down and I was like, I just want to homestead this year. I want us to get very serious about it. I want us to develop our land responsibly. I want to get someone out here to take a look at what we got before we start putting structures up. Because if you build a structure in the wrong place, like you're just up a creek and out of money. So we're probably going to do that this year, have someone come look at the land. We've also purchased more land in the past year. So we added 30 more acres. So now we have about 80 acres. And then we have a lease for my parents' land, and we have a lease for other land to grow our sheep, the herd, and make sure they have plenty of grass to eat, because we do supplement them, because currently the grass here is just not that great. We're trying to restore it, but it takes time. And so we would obviously love to just do grass-fed all year long, but currently we're not able to do that. So that's something that we want to do. The other thing is, the chickens are mine. And while I bear some responsibility, also Ken Berry set me up. He set me up to fail. So I got my chickens year before last. Last year I didn't get any chickens because I was like, I can't do it. I don't have time. Bonnie was one. She was crazy. I just didn't have the energy and the bandwidth to brood chickens last year. This year I'm going to brood chickens. But the problem is my setup is crap currently. And so we're going to have to redo a lot of things. So my chicken coop that is beautiful and perfect, he thought he was helping me out. He put a automatic door on there that would open after sunrise and close after sunset. And I had my girls trained, and they were going in, and they were doing so good. And then that door stopped working. And then they got into the habit of not going in at night, and they were roosting in the barn. And then one of my roosters just was such a jerk. Anytime I would try to gather them up after the sun went down when they were asleep and I could get them, he would not let them go to bed because he would run them off every time I would go to pick them up. Anyways, all that to say, I couldn't get them to go back in the coop, and they've been in the barn roosting ever since. And they were fine. We did lose more than I wanted to because they're not safe at night in a barn roosting in like random places. So that's one problem. The second problem is my girls free range. And so if they're not put up at night and have that morning in the coop to lay their eggs, and they're not homed to the coop, they just lay them anywhere. And I don't know when they're laying them. So I'll come up upon a massive pile of eggs, and I can't eat them because, first of all, many of them are broken. It was the heat of summer at that point, and they ruined. I just didn't feel safe with the kids eating those eggs. It was just random, and I was lazy. Also, I was being very lazy when it came to be chicken mama. And chicken mama sucked last year, and we're going to fix that too. So we had all these eggs wasted. When I tell you I found mountains of eggs in the dumbest places, I'm not kidding. I think maybe there's a place on my phone where I took a video, probably 50 eggs, under an old chair, and I swear it just appeared overnight. Anyways, all that to say, we haven't been able to have eggs from the chickens because they don't lay them in the same place, or they lay them in a stupid place and I can't get to them, or they lay them in a place and I don't find them until it's been who knows how long. So we're going to have to rehome them into the coop. I'm going to need to build a chicken run so that is an easier process. I need to, where we brooded the chickens 2 years ago, we did have quail. We do not have quail anymore. That whole shed is disgusting. I have to completely tear everything out of there and clean that up and get it ready for brooding chickens, baby chicks, this year. And then I need to clean all of my baby chicken gear. And then I need to buy chicken feed, chicken baby chick starter, the water gear, all the things. I have to do all of that. I have a whole list. I've been sitting for like literally the past week. All I've done is sit and made a list of all the things that we have to do if we want to take this seriously, and we really do. We want to take it seriously because I want to be a good steward of this land that was left to me and entrusted to me. I want to be a good steward to this land, and I've been a really bad one, and that makes me sad. But also sustainability, regeneratively, knowing where my food comes from, having a food source, survivability. Like, you just don't know what the world may hold. Maybe nothing ever happens bad, and I just have a hobby farm, right? Or maybe the egg shortage is a thing that happens all the time, and we don't have to worry about that because my girls are safe and they know where to lay their freaking eggs. Right now, I'm having to buy eggs from people that I know that have chickens, or buy the eggs from the grocery store. This week, I was unable to get the eggs that I normally get. I had to get the bad eggs, which, whatever, it's fine. But like, going from pastured eggs back to just normal eggs is not something I should have to do because I have chicken. So I'm really mad at myself that I even have to think about buying eggs because I should just have them. And it's my fault. It is all my fault. So number one on my list is getting my chickens back in working order, making my girls a happy place, making them a safe place, and getting that egg production back up. Because right now I think I only have 5 layers. And one of them is an Easter egger. I can't believe she survived. She's my baby, and I hope she makes it till I get her all safe again. All right, so that's number one. Number 2 is my raised garden beds. If you have found me through my husband, who is a carnivore doctor, he is a champion of the carnivore diet for metabolic health. People find me through him. I have plants on my plate, they lose their mind, all right? I eat a very small variety of plant food. I very often will have tomatoes, garlic, onions, avocado. That's pretty much like the main stuff. I have in the past grown what I call a salsa garden because the main components of my garden are the ingredients to make salsa. Cilantro, dill. I've grown a few herbs. I got lucky last year and my lavender actually grew because I think I just forgot about it, and it loves to be neglected apparently. I'm going to do all those same varieties that I normally do with my tomatoes and my peppers and my onions and my garlic and my dill and my herbs, but I'm going to add some more herbs to the mix as well for medicinal purposes, just because I think it's fun. I'm a huge Outlander books and show fan, and I love Claire Fraser, and she really gets me into knowing natural remedies, natural foraging, how to forage, blah, blah, blah. It's just good to know, right? So a lot of the things that I'll be growing this year are my salsa garden as usual, some more herbs than I normally do that are medicinal herbs. And then I'm also going to try my hand at growing some things on a trellis, like some pumpkins and some squash. I don't eat those, and neither do the kids, but they're beautiful. And they make for good chicken fodder, and the sheep also love them. So they'll just look really pretty. The kids love to look at gourds and squash and stuff, and they'll love to see them grow. Like I said, this is going to be a classroom for them. It's not just a garden for food. It's a teaching moment for us, and it's, good to spend time outside in the sun, get your vitamin D, get your hands dirty. And I've always liked it. I've just never truly fully committed, and this year I am fully committing to the garden. And I'm having a salsa garden, an apothecary garden, and basically a chicken and a sheep fodder garden for fun. I'm also doing some container gardening, so I'm going to do strawberries in a green stick tower for the kids, and then I'll also do probably some more herbs in the smaller container that I have. That is the main things that we're going to be doing, and you're going to see me go through all this stuff in the next 6 months, because that's kind of where my channel is probably going to go. You're going to see way more of me doing things like that than being in the kitchen. Of course, I'm going to cook because I have to eat, and so the kids. So you'll still see me cooking and doing things like that, but honestly, you're mostly going to see me getting in supplies, setting up our homestead, doing a lot of manual labor, which is good, and just being outside a whole awful lot. And then I may do some like education pieces too about like what I'm learning and give you guys some resources in case you're interested. Probably some product reviews like the green stick towers that I just ordered. By the way, I'm going to put a picture of them up here. They are just so cool, and they're on sale right now. It's buy one, get one free. So if you're interested in that, it's probably a really good time to buy them. I have a whole list of things here. So you're going to see me cleaning out the chicken brooder barn, my brooder barn. You're going to see me cleaning my chicken tractor for when they're teenagers. I'm probably going to buy some stuff for the in-between phases. I'm going to show you the new feed that I'm using this year, because I'm really trying to do as organic as possible this year. Instead of just buying the stuff that I get from Tractor Supply every year, I would like to step it up and do a better quality of chicken raising. So instead of the chicken grower that I get from Tractor Supply, I'm going to order some organic kind. I'm going to probably shift my layer girls that are grown to a different pellet. So you're going to see me do a lot with the chickens. You're going to see me start some seeds. You're going to see the kids do their seed starting kit too. You're probably going to watch me fail a lot. And then maybe at the end of summer, you'll see a good harvest, and in the fall too. So I just wanted to kind of let you guys know that my channel is shifting. And I understand that a lot of you really love my What I Eat in a Day vlogs. I'm sure that I will still do those. It just won't be so centered around that. Planting a garden and raising your own food, that's where I am in my health and wellness journey. And I think a lot of you are too. And so that's why I ordered containers, because I really want to show you that you can do this anywhere. You don't have to have 50 acres or 10 acres. You can have a balcony. And so I'm going to really try and show you different paths to doing all of this. So I hope that you're excited. I'm very excited. Oh my gosh, the number one thing that is so important that I was going to tell you, I saved it to the last. If you've made it to the end of the video, then you are getting to hear the big announcement. So because I'm taking my garden much more seriously, and I want to be way more sustainable with what I feed the chickens and what I feed my family and myself in particular, I'm getting a greenhouse. And so Friday, I'm recording this on Wednesday. Friday, we're going to go look at the greenhouses, see what they have on the lot. If we need to change out some specs, we will, and get that ordered and delivered. We're going to have somebody come out here and level the ground where we're going to put it. And yeah, I'm going to take you along for that journey too. And I'm just so excited. I'm just so excited to have this freedom finally in my mind and my soul and my spirit to want to do things that are old but new to me, and really take it seriously and not just be a hobby. I'll do it when I do it or whatever, blah, blah. No, I'm going to be very, very diligent right now, and hopefully this sticks with me. I think if I have a greenhouse, that's going to help a lot. I don't want to have to depend on the food supply chain. I will sometimes still buy things from the store, but I would really like to, by next year, have a fully sustainable garden, meat, egg. Like, I have a lot of plans. When we move to the new house, which should be end of summer, this house will be our farm headquarters. We're going to put in a place here where we can process our own meat. We're going to have a freeze dryer put in so that we can freeze dry eggs and herbs and stuff like that. We're also for canning. Like, this whole house is going to be dedicated to making food and sustainable food, whether that's canning, dehydrating, freezing, whatever it may be. That's what this house will be. It will be farm headquarters, and then that'll be the house. And then the garage will be the studio where we make our Ken makes his content. Yeah. Okay. So I think that's all I was going to tell you guys. I'm very excited because Friday is going to be amazing. Tomorrow I'm going to get a few deliveries, and the kids are very excited, so we're going to show you that. So I'll record something tomorrow, and then I'll show you us going to look at greenhouses on Friday. So thanks for being here. I hope you're excited for this new chapter, and I will see you in the next one. Love you, mean it. Bye.